Hey guys, it's Rick Schirmer from LaunchViral, here to help you learn how to go viral and learn the best practices from top influencers and top brands at the top of their game. I've spent my entire career helping brands go viral, the last 20 years since the MySpace days, and I'll tell you what, it's been an incredible journey. Things are ever changing, so stay tuned, like and subscribe, and look forward to seeing you here. Hey, Deanna Martinez, it is so nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. We're, talked to you a little bit before. Our mission, here at Launch Viral is to help people learn new best practices in the playbook on going viral and being viral. As you guys are growing your fan base, influencers, brands, and I've worked in brand strategy. I told you, and viral campaigns my whole career since the MySpace days, and really given my career to it. I was initially a brand strategist at the Walt Disney Company, and then I left because around 0304 zone, and my main mission was going like, hey, I love this whole word of mouth, plugged in the power of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started at Disney, it was like very like it was well, I worked on political campaigns in college, and they were kind of grassroots, and we were getting community influencers and leaders behind political campaigns. And then I was like, I don't really like politics, but I love like this campaign style. I went to Disney, and then we started doing more stuff at Disney. And then Disney at the time didn't even have a VP of digital marketing yet, so I
Oh,
went from
wow.
they didn't have it. Like in 2003, it didn't exist. In fact, the first head of digital was a girl I dated for a minute. Her name was Deanna, and she was the first VP of digital at Disney, Walt Disney Studios, and it was really a really cool experience being able to hack and learn new things and do new things. And I left and went right back, and we started working on the Chronicles of Narnia, the Lion, the Witch, and the
Oh,
Wardrobe. Started doing viral campaigns right away for Disney, having left Disney as an agency. So
yeah.
and really been working on it ever since. In 2009, we did Tangled. It was around 2009, Tangled with Disney,
Yeah,
and
yes.
launched viral campaigns, influencer campaigns back then, and worked with Chick-fil-A now and Walmart, and pretty much every brand, big and small, you can imagine. And I'm learning something new every single day. And so, for me, I'm just learning from people like you, Deanna. Like, what's your playbook? Like, how are you doing it? What's your why? Like, different influencers and brands and celebrities that we're working with. We're all in this together. And like I mentioned to you, Deanna, on the pre-call before this podcast started, that the thing that's fascinating is that we have friends that we work with and clients from the social networks who actually work high levels of the social networks, and they don't even understand the why behind what goes viral. Things are changing so fast with the algorithm and AI tools that they're learning and experimenting themselves. So it's amazing when you've got someone who's like a VP of TikTok, who's a client of ours and a partner of ours, who's like, hey, we're learning here too, and so we're
Yeah.
all learning together. So this is a really fun, it turns out like 20 years later, my whole career I've spent on this. 20 years later, we're still learning. We're still swinging through the weeds. We're still pioneering, this and all of us every day. And Deanna, people like you, big applause.
Thank
I'm
you.
so
Thank you.
impressed. You worked with us. You worked with us on the LA County Fair. We did this kind of fun little activation, invited people to LA County Fair. Which, by the way, did you have a good time?
Oh, we had a blast. It was so much
Did
fun.
you? Oh, I'm
Yes.
so
We
happy.
love the fair.
Thanks for doing that. Thanks for doing that. That was awesome. I hope you guys had a great time. Those food vouchers weren't as generous as I'd wanted to be. I would have thrown some extra bucks behind those because that after I get there, I realize those food vouchers don't go that far.
Mhm. But anything, any little thing was a blessing, and we used them, and it was great. I cannot complain. It was
Oh, that's
perfect.
awesome. That's awesome. That makes me so happy. Well, thanks for being there and doing that. And by the way, if anybody's watching, the LA County Fair at the LA County Fairgrounds is such an amazing time. I couldn't even believe for me, I lived in LA 25 years and I'd never been to the LA County Fair. I just had never, I don't know. I moved to LA in 97 and,
Oh, wow.
from Pepperdine to go to college and work for Disney. I was going to grad school at Pepperdine at night while I was working for Disney right out of school, right out of undergrad. And honestly never even thought about going to LA County Fair. So before they actually brought us on to help them, I just was never a thought in my mind. And we went and had the best time, and our family and I have a 3-year-old now, little Jude, and we had the best time. And speaking of families, your whole niche that you've developed is in and around like family adventures, right?
Yes, yes, family
Tell me more. Tell me
adventures.
more. I'm excited to know everything. I know you have a big journey, and I mentioned before, the reason that we want to hear, with everything, when it comes to marketing and especially with influence, and influencing and being an influencer, whether you're a brand or you're, a creator, influence, you all have influence and we want to influence and we want to get people engaged and come on our journey with us. But it all starts with your why. It all starts with your why. Why
Yes.
are you doing this? If you're not connected to your why, I don't care what kind of business you have, actually. If you're not connected to your why, I don't know how people, entrepreneurs specifically, succeed without being connected to their why. So anyway, why are you doing this? And then we'll get to the playbook on some of the things that you're doing to help yourself grow and things that can help our audience as well. So
Yes.
welcome, Deanna, and tell us everything about Happy Family Adventures.
Thank you, Rick, for having me again. So my name is Deanna, and we are Happy Family Adventures, or Happy underscore Family underscore Adventures. And honestly, like Rick said, you got to have a why and why you want to do this. It has, number one reason, it has to be in your heart. If you don't love what you do, you're not going to enjoy it and succeed it and want to do it every day. And honestly, my why was I I had cancer at the time, and I was working a couple of jobs because my husband also it was ill. He has congestive heart failure, and I told myself, like, what can I do to create the best memory so our children can remember us? You know, think of us like when we go, when our time is here. Not that we're limited, but when our time ends here, like, how can they remember us by, and what can we do to make it fun for them? Because we were living paycheck to paycheck. So I said, what if I be an influencer? I'm like, can I do this? And that's how it started. So we started, and now I would never imagine in a million years we would be where we are at now.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That makes me so happy. Okay, having a 3-year-old, I probably before I've done a lot of family marketing. We created this whole program at Chick-fil-A called Daddy Daughter Date Night, and then Mommy Son Date Night, and then rolled that out, nationally. Really fun because we want families to have really great experiences, in the Chick-fil-A restaurants. And so that's been really fun. And those, you could Google them and check a Chick-fil-A near you. They're still going on today. They're happening a little less now because the Chick-fil-A's are now have gone so viral and they're so busy that they don't have the capacity to do some of these programs that we were doing, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But anyway, it's and by the way, Chick-fil-A has a new sandwich launching later on this month. Sorry to be a shameless plugger, but if anybody likes the pimento cheese, they have a pimento cheese honey chicken sandwich that's coming out. That's going to be a mind blower. So
Have you
anyway,
tasted it yet?
caramel crunch shake. No, I have not tasted. I usually taste the
Oh,
stuff in
okay.
advance. I have not tasted this one in advance. And because I haven't been to Atlanta to wrap my mouth around it. But I'm gonna tell you what, I'm real excited about
Oh,
it.
I'm excited just listening to you.
Chick-fil-A's a food group in our family. It's not like a place we go to, and not just a client of mine. And I've worked with them for 15 years now. It's been an amazing journey, but it is just actually a food group in our family. That's just the way it is. My wife's from Atlanta, so but anyway, I think it's incredible. The family stuff is really close to my heart, not because of all that in Disney, but also now as a 3-year-old, and I have a little treasure chest, a little chest in our guest bedroom actually, where I'm taking things and dropping them in there. And I actually brought a
Oh,
journal, kind of like this cool journal, and I'm gonna start writing him letters because I know one day he's gonna read it. And
that's
my mom
awesome.
passed early at 54, and so sad, but I want him to always have like these treasured. I want him to have a treasure chest when he goes back and remember me and get energy and remember our energy together and be a great dad one day and just be a great person one day and remember all of our moments. And it's just I just think what you're doing is awesome and could not be more excited and supportive of it. So tell me, how did you get started? I mean, you have 34.4K followers. In our world, we call you a mid-tier influencer, and in the marketing world, right?
Hmm.
So we call you, they have a micro influencer, until you hit about 100 when you become a macro influencer.
Yeah, yeah.
but but I mean, 34. I mean, that is nothing to sneeze at. That's amazing, and you've done this. Like, you're doing it. You're doing it.
Yeah, and it's crazy when you see more like added like daily. You're like, oh, I got 10 more people follow me. Wow, like
That's amazing. That's amazing. I
no.
love it. Okay, so tell me first about before we get into your playbook. Which, by the way, thank you for sharing. That's amazing. It's helpful for all of us. We're new playbook every day. Hopefully, you'll tune back in and watch more of these and learn from other people's playbooks too.
Yes.
We're gonna have VPs from TikTok, and we've got celebrities and influencers, a whole range of people who are we're all in this together. It's a community, and we're just gonna be more passionate about it. But tell me more about like how did you start? How'd you start? How'd you start? You're like, I'm gonna do this. How'd you start? Did you start?
I I honestly just started inboxing people. I was like, they're influencers. Let me ask them, and I would just ask them questions like, "Hey, if you don't mind me bothering you, I'm a huge fan of watching you. How did you become an influencer?" And believe it or not, one or two responded, and that's just how I went from there. And I started googling on influencers that had like groups that you can join, and I ended up joining a group called the Mommy Blogger Tribe, which I'm still part of. And
Mommy Blogger Tribe?
yeah, yeah. I joined them and
Awesome.
they have like different activities that you guys can do together, and also, you sit and you promote the company, and it just kept going from there.
Wow. Wow. And then you started like, okay, so you started thinking about some of the best practices and what to do and how to do it. So you're kind of Googling, asking other people what their tip for their tips. And then from there you just kept on rolling. And then there comes a point though where you got to take the jump off the cliff and start creating content, right? You're
Yes,
like,
I remember my
okay,
first post. I was so scared.
tell
I'm like, "Oh
me.
my
Tell
goodness,
me
how
about
am I
that.
gonna?"
Tell me.
So I reached out to what is it called, Monster Jam, and at first I reached out through a DM, which is the private message, and they
Okay.
messaged me back saying to email them. I was like, oh my god, I got to email. And I was like, I don't have like a professional email. I just have my regular email. So I created one real quick with our name. I emailed them saying I would like to work with them, and they said, okay, well, tell me how we can work with you. What can we do for you then that you can help benefit us? And I was like, okay, well, I will help promote, your event when we go. I'll share positive content. I'll share videos, food that we purchased or food that we ate. And they said, okay, we would like to have you out here. So they ended up paying for our ticket
Wow.
and our parking, and we paid for our own food there. But I was so excited, and I didn't know how to write or what to write. But luckily, the mommy blogger group that I joined had help me step by step. Okay, well, you want to make sure you write this. If they send you information on what to hashtag or who to tag, you make sure to do that. And I was like, okay, so it just worked out. I did it, and I
Wow.
was so proud. I remember crying because I've never been a Monster Jam. I've always wanted to go, but I couldn't afford to do it. So to take my family, I was like, oh my goodness, we are here. Like it was just crazy, and it was a huge blessing, and
Wow.
we loved it.
That's so fun. Yeah, I was just looking. I'm looking at your page right now. Just some of the adventures you guys have been doing. And then do you get like right now? Like, I mean, you just started posting and going in collabs, and then you just basically reached out to people. And then are people like us? Like, I reached out to you for the LA County Fair.
Yeah.
Um, do you get a lot of people that reach out to you as well?
Now, yes. Now, honestly, my emails maybe 10 to 15 different companies, different people that want to work with us, and my emails daily.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah.
10 to 15 a day?
Yes. A lot of them are products. So products we would love to
Yeah,
help promote if it
yeah.
fits our content. Like you got to create a content that fits you. And for me, it was family. So I don't mind sharing stuff that if I get that product that we can use towards our adventures.
Yeah, yeah. So things that align with you. Yeah, and in my software, like when I kind of look up your look up your uh get some fancy software that we developed at LaunchViral that can be used for our campaigns. But my we have a thing called a topic sensor that helps us understand like the topics that you talk about and threads
Hmm.
that that your content resonates with on our artificial intelligence software that's picking up on those conversations
Oh.
online influencers. So things to do in Los Angeles, is fun things to do with kids, fun for the whole family.
Hmm.
uh,
The hashtags.
Family, yeah, some of these are hashtags and some of them are just kind of like, yeah, exactly, the hashtags, they're just kind of like popping up. and the topics that are kind of trending online. So you're definitely like, look at your account, you definitely are hit the bullseye, in terms of your
Yeah.
content. You're on brand from an AI, just an AI standpoint. When I'm looking at what you do and who you say you are, they fully align. Sometimes you see that people will be like, I'm doing this, and then their topic censor looks different, and I'm going like, wait, hold on. But you're like right in the zone, and it's super fun. So you like doing these collabs? You look at, is this a way for your family to make a living, to make money, or is it a fun, you get some tickets for things, or are you trying to make this your full-time job?
Actually, I didn't want to do it for the money. I was like, I don't want to get paid. I just want us to be able to go and to enjoy these places. Because at the time, well, my husband's still on a heart transplant list, but if we make a certain amount of
Oh,
money, he
blessings.
would he would have to pay out of pocket. So I didn't want
Oh,
to go
right.
over that. But we
Yeah,
ended up talking to a yes. I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna get paid. So we ended up talking to our tax person, and they said, well, you can get up to $600 per person you work with per year. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So we just did that. We never asked them for money. If they offer it, we'll take it, but as long
yeah.
as it doesn't go past that amount. And if they want to work with us with gift cards or providing us, I usually ask now like for gift cards for gas. I'm like, do you mind
Yeah.
providing us with a gas gift card? They're like, yeah,
Oh,
no
right.
problem.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
that's
I
good.
love that.
Good. I love that. I never thought about that, being someone who kind of is the middleman, right, between the brands that are, hiring us to reach out to people like you, right? So, we're, you know, um, you know, we oftentimes will be the broker in the middle of a cash, relationship, and then also
Mhm.
sometimes a product exchange, like you're talking about. But a lot of times it's like, you don't want to. There's always a balance for us with brands, because you don't want to look like you're buying somebody's love, right? So
Yes.
typically, like, unless it's a big celebrity, what we do is we'll offer, we want to, but we also don't want to be insulted. We realize it takes a lot of time and effort to be an influencer and great content. So we typically will we'll ask people for their rate, but we may not be able to pay it all the time. We just have like a more of what I call like a, when you
Where you
speak
meet in
someone.
the middle.
Yeah, well, yeah, a meet in the middle, or like, what do they call it, like an honorarium? Like it's like a little bit more of an honorarium, because some people, post and do things for us, or speak at, like, let's say Magic, my wife's fashion conference that she works with. We can't always spend as much money as they want, or they're even frankly worth. They really are worth. If we have like a major person,
Mm.
posting, we really want to find people there's heart alignment and they actually really like the product. And but we want to honor them and give them an honorarium, but we don't want to offend them. So we'll try to like meet them in the middle and stuff like that in certain cases. And then in some cases it's just like, hey, all we have is a product barter. Like it's just like, we'll give you guys the product. And sometimes the smaller influencers are cool with that if they like it, like you just said before, if it resonates with your audience.
Yeah.
If it your audience and it makes sense, then you might come to LA County Fair, which by the way, thank you again for popping out. That resonated with you and made sense. And by the way, I'm so happy you came and had a great time. By the way, your husband, prayers and blessings to him
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
in your journey. How are you doing health
I'm
wise?
doing good. I'm doing
Yeah,
good. I
thank you.
still have cancer, and I luckily I do not have to do any more chemo treatment or nothing. I'm not doing any pills. We're just taking it day by
Really?
day. I get tested to make sure everything's okay. I'm actually gonna have surgery coming up in November, and hopefully that just removes everything. And like people tell me, like, you're not sad. I said, no, I'm not sad. I said, because I believe, like, I'm not the most religious person, but I believe like the man
Right.
upstairs knows my path. He already written my path, so I just roll with it. In the
Yeah.
meantime, I'm gonna enjoy life to the fullest and just keep going. So it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
really bother me.
That is amazing, and what a beautiful testament to just humanity, just that what you just said. So thank you so much for sharing that, because I get messed up a little bit thinking about it, and they just thinking about family and kids and just all the love we have and the blessings we have. It's just like
Yeah.
it
Like when you
really,
see us, you wouldn't think, our health is bad. Like you'd be like, what?
yeah,
Like my husband, he gets on roller coasters. Like he needs a heart. And I'm
really,
like, yeah. I said, but as long as he keeps pumping, he's gonna ride the roller coasters. Like he's gonna keep doing it. Even when we go
That's
to
a
the doctor, like they're looking for like an 85-year-old man, and then when they see him, they
yeah.
always think like they got him mixed up. And we're like, no, that's him. He looks fine.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, hey, blessings to you guys for
Thank
total
you.
healing. Just pray that you'll be in our prayers and our family's prayers. I'll talk to Rachel and my wife, and we'll just send blessings your way. So
I
and hope
appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
all good things for you guys. Well, hey, that so kind of like switching topics real fast, but related. So what would you recommend to people? Like, what's your playbook? Like, what it like? Yeah, it sounds like you gave us some of those tips in the beginning and how you did. If people watching as they're starting out and wanting to be an influencer and big or small or whatever, what would you recommend to folks as they're getting going?
I honestly would say find a influencer group like I did and work from there because you'll end up meeting new people. You'll go to different events and like don't be shy. Talk to people like at the event. You see someone with a headset, walking around, introduce yourself. Like, hi, how are you? Because you never know who they work for or what they're doing, and they might just invite you somewhere because they like your vibe. So I do that
It's
all the
awesome.
time. I am very talkative, and I get the most random people like, "Let me get your contact information," and they ended up calling us, and I was like, "Oh wow!" Like I didn't think they would call us, but they did. And I
Yeah,
would honestly say start off like that, and hashtags work. Believe it or not, hashtags do work. Tagging products, I always tag products. Tagging the company, just basically that's like the beginning. So start off
yeah.
by doing that.
Wow. Okay, that's great. That's really good. Now, hi, Estefania. You just hopped on.
Hi, how are you? I'm so sorry. I got a little difficulties.
Oh, no problem. No problem. It's great. It's perfect timing. We just had Deanna and I had a really good chat, so we'll shift over to you. That's gonna be really fun to talk. But Deanna, those are great tips, and by the way, thank you for sharing them. Do you do what they call shout for shouts? Have you heard people use that term or?
No, I've never heard of that.
It's when like an influencer you kind of like barter with another influencer to exchange a shout for a shout. So you might give them a shout on like let's say your Instagram story and tag them, and then they also might give you a shout back. So that way
Oh, okay,
like
yeah, yeah.
so it's like, hey, I'll give you a shout. They call it a shout for shout. So it's like I'll give you a shout out, you give me a shout out, and then what happens is you kind of like grow each other's audiences. So you might want to find other family influencers that are doing cool stuff, and then be like, hey, look, I'd be happy that you got 32,000 followers. I'd love to give you guys a shout out, tell people to follow you. Would you mind doing the same? And then that what happens is you guys both grow a little bit. So if you create your own
Yes.
campaign and have like these shout for shout lists, and then even small brands can do that as well. But for influencers, it's a really good way to collab and grow together. Have you done stuff like that? You probably have.
Yeah,
Just
it just came naturally. Like if they tag me
yeah,
in a reel, I'll just repost it. Anytime someone tags me, I repost it. Even if it's just a regular person, I always repost it. And if I'm
that's
working
cool.
with the restaurant or the company, I will always ask them to be as a collaborator. So if it's on my page and they accept it, it goes on their page. Then whoever follows them sees it, and growing more as like that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. And then what about hashtags? Are you finding like do you hashtag a lot? Are you
I
using
do.
tagging? Yeah.
I
How many
hashtag a
hashtags do
lot.
you normally how many hashtags are you normally using?
If I'm working like on a product or a movie review or a theme park, it'll be anywhere between 10 to 15.
Guys, you'll add a bunch of hashtags. I have heard, from certain people, not, it's obviously working for you, but I have heard that overusing hashtags or having too many hashtags can hurt you. Have you seen that at all? Because
No,
no, haven't seen that.
I mean personally, like I know when I read people's
Yeah,
content, I never read their hashtag. The hashtag is not for them; it's for the AI computer to work.
yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, I am so excited about everything that you're doing, and we pray blessings on you and your account and your
Thank
health and your
you.
family and all the cool things. Just wish you the very, very best in all things, and stay with us if you don't mind, unless you got to
No,
run. But
yes, yes.
we'll talk to Estefania, and then does anybody? I was just going to say here, going to open chat. If anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them into our chat as well. So we'll see if anything pops up. But Estefania, what's up, beauty?
Hi, how
You
are
went you went
you?
You went dark. I don't know. I lost your kid. There you go. There you are. I
Am
got
I
you.
here? Okay.
Yeah.
I've been
So,
having difficulties all morning. I apologize,
oh,
but I am
no
so glad you guys
worries.
invite me. So thank you so much.
Yes, of course, of course. We love you, and it's great to see you. You're not only a really cool influencer doing cool things, but you're also a dear friend of ours as well. So we,
Yes, yes.
Deanna, I was telling you before on the pre-call that Estefania is actually had moved out to got a house in Lake Las Vegas during the pandemic as well with her family. It is from SoCal, so we're and then she's got a beautiful family, amazing people. Her husband's a good friend of mine, and we've just been able to journey together for a bit. She does amazing parties, like she is like,
Nice.
and she does incredible food. She's a foodie and does amazing things in her house. I'm always blown away by like her pictures. I follow them on Instagram as well as put them in my mouth because I go over to her house. So I actually get to personally partake, not enough, but I get to personally partake. I crashed one of the women's parties not long ago that she had. My wife was at, maybe last year. I can't remember when it was,
Last
but
year.
yeah, last
It was
year
my
there was.
birthday.
I was at your birthday. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
all girls, but I came anyway.
That's awesome.
Because we love you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, Estefania, so just to kind of recap real fast, and for our viewers on the podcast here, to give people just a recap, my name's Rick Schirmer. LaunchViral is the name of our podcast. It's also the name of my company, and
Yes.
we are focused on helping brands. As far as an agency side, we specifically help brands launch viral campaigns. We want to put viral firepower behind what the brands we're working with do, but as a community, we really are. We can't do that without each other. So the reality is like we've got it's all comes back to organic, and the word viral really just means, to me anyway, word of mouth, natural word
Yes.
of mouth plugged
Yes.
into the power of social networks and the internet and algorithms and all the things, right? Now, I've studied word of mouth my whole career, but the algorithms change all the time. There's things that are
Yes.
changing in the algorithms and the tools. And that's so funny. I told Deanna just a second ago that before you hopped on, even the people we work with at the social networks at TikTok, who are friends of ours and clients of ours, they and partners of ours, they often don't know what's going on with the algorithms. So they're
Yeah.
learning. It's almost got a life of its own. They're learning things as we're learning things, and so so what we've done with this podcast and the purpose of the podcast itself is what I call the playbook. It's like, let's have people come on and share the playbooks with each other so we can all, as a community and a tribe, learn from each other, whether you're a brand or a celebrity or an influencer or creator. Let's learn from each other and like keep this up. So that's the fun thing about this. I'm learning every day. I was on a campaign call yesterday, with a client of ours, Up Faith and Family, really cool organization, just faith and family uplifting content, kind of like a Netflix, but just for kind of uplifting type stuff, maybe Hallmarky, with a little bit of a faith twist, I guess. Um,
Nice.
but anyway, they we're launching campaigns for a movie called Heartland, and we're just trying to find the right kind of influencers. And so yeah, there's a little bit of experimentation about, oh whoa, these influencers are posting, really resonant. Their content's like really catching fire right now. Some of these other ones not as much, but this audience like right here is like Western themed influencers. In this case, these Western themed influencers, because the topic Heartland is more of a Western themed show, and these Western themed influencers are liking a Western themed show. It makes sense, right? But
Mm-hmm.
general moms and faith and family people may not be catching fire as fast as these are because they're just like and that comes down to algorithms and engagement and all sorts of things. So it's just fun. We learn new things every single day,
Oh my
being a
God.
professional in this space, and you guys are professional influencers, so we want to talk to you and get your playbook, Estefania. But first and foremost, everything is really connected. Everything is connected to your why. Like it's like, why are you doing this? What are you doing? Because if you're not connected to your why, as an entrepreneur, and influencers are entrepreneurs, right? So
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur, if you're not connected to your why, you're not going to keep on doing it because like every day
Mhm.
like, you didn't get enough likes, or you didn't get enough this, or your following isn't growing as much as you want, or you're not making enough money. But if you're connected to your why, I think you can make it through these hard things that come with being an entrepreneur, influencerpreneur. So
Yeah,
in your
influencerpreneur. I love that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love that word.
Yeah, Estefania, tell us your why, like what you're up to. Give us a
I, I,
give us a
I
thing.
tell you a little bit. I tell you a little bit about me. I am a journalist. I am Latina. I work
Oh,
on TV for
you're
20.
not
You
Latina.
cannot tell because of my accent, huh?
Hey, I'm with two.
It's huge.
I'm with two beautiful Latina women on this podcast, which is amazing right now. So I'm very blessed.
But Diana doesn't have an accent.
No.
I wish I can speak like her.
I wish I could speak like you.
Oh my gosh, no, my daughter makes fun of me. It does not the right pronunciation. I'm like, well, I wasn't born here, so you're gonna have to deal with me.
Well,
No,
Estefania,
but
you're a journalist, but you're a soap opera star, a journalist. You've
yeah,
done soap operas in
I
Mexico.
I've done I've done
You
movies
did a
and I
lot.
used to model
Yeah.
and also this is part of my why. When I found Latinos in America, which is the company that I've been working since 2019. Latinos in America, the why was because I realized that Latinos, when we move here to this country, we don't have the tools, we don't know the language, we don't know the laws. And for example, for something so easy like getting a driver license, open a bank account, and so on and so forth. And when I was working on the news, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of people within our own community that is taking advantage of our own people. And I'm like, how could that could be? That's so wrong. So I found Latinos in America to empower Latinos and to give them the tools and to connect. Like you said, everything is connectivity. So connect, empower, and teach. I think like information is key and is the best equalizer. So we are doing that, and then that's one part of Latinos in America. Another part will be once they are established, the majority of these Latinos are business owners, and they will, produce and they will give jobs to other people, and the economy will get an effect because we are the majority. And we
Yes.
work hard. It's just that we just need the right tools. So that's
Yes.
my why. My why is always gonna be with my community. My why is always gonna be empowering people. Whether it's about an outfit I'm wearing, whether it's go and get your driving license here, or your taxes here, or stay away from this or that.
Yeah.
That's always my why, just to help people.
That's amazing. And you like since you came to America, you've been in America for a while now.
Almost 20. No, I've been in America for almost 20 years, but I barely make American. I just did my citizenship last November, believe it or not, because I was also part of these people who was not honest with me, so I couldn't do my paperwork right. Because some people take advantage of you and steal your money and so on and so forth. So barely last year, after 20 years, I mean, I've always been legal, paying my taxes, no worry. But I was resident, but never American citizen yet because of my bad luck choosing the wrong people.
Wow. Well, we're blessed we're obviously very blessed to have you. So thank you for being here in America and blessing our family with your beauty. You're just an
Thank you.
awesome person. So tell us about your content. I mean, you've gone through in your journey, like you've done, like you've been, a model, you've been a soap star, you've been that's going to be hard to kind of figure out, like, okay, what's my niche? Because sometimes you're like, okay, I've done this, I have this hat, this hat. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's exactly, because like in the beginning, I always fall in love with fashion. I love fashion. I used to be a fashion model. I live in Milan for many, many years, and in Mexico City. So I traveled the world fashion modeling when I was in my 20s. But then I became a mom, and I'm like, okay, well, there's also like a little niche about, mommies. And, it's not like in the 1800s, like being a mom is old school and it's boring. You can be cool and you can still like share tips, and then so a mom can dress like this and like that. So I will say I'm a little bit of everything, like, because I still do fashion, I still do mommy stuff, I still, believe it or not, I never thought I was going to be doing cooking, because that was my forever big no-no. I'm even doing cookie recipes,
you never thought you do what? I didn't catch
I
that.
married a Mexican, and he likes Mexican food, so I have to learn how to do Mexican food now.
Your food's amazing. If anybody go on, we'll share in the bio, so everybody click on the bio. By the way, like, subscribe, and give us the thumbs up if you don't mind, because we'd love to get those algorithm boosts. And I know that's a big part of the game on YouTube. But everybody check out in your bios. We'll in the information page. We'll put a link to your all's accounts so everybody can discover you guys and learn more about the awesomeness that's on your all's pages. But you guys are both, I mean, very family centric people. So I love it's really cool. We are too, as you know. But as far as your pages even go, like you guys have like very family centric. You're a fashionista, of course. Estefania, my wife, Rachel McCord, is a fashionista too, and you guys both love like nerding out on the fashion stuff. Tell us, like, so when you got started, and this is kind of getting into part of this podcast. Now we get to the why and what you're doing, but what's your playbook? Like, how have you developed your we want to share other tips and tricks with the influencers and celebrities and brands that we work with. Hopefully, as people go through some of these podcast episodes on YouTube, they'll be able to pop on and just learn things that everybody's doing. And we want to share as a community, help each other.
Yeah. And what Deanna was saying, I do the same thing as Deanna when she, somebody tag me for anything, even if it's a recipe or it's a tip or thank you for sharing, this hack, whatever, I repost too. And I think we're building community and also like sharing and, to be honest with each other. I guess we empower each other and then we help each other and then we all grow, because I think there's room for everybody. Yes. So I do the same thing, even if it's one, I don't mind. And, as long as everything is respectful, I always share and repost whenever somebody tag me or mention me on social media. I think that's super important.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
The organic side, let's say.
It sounds like you're always like willing to collaborate.
So yes. I do a lot of collaborations with brands. I do different, for fashion, for food, for places, even a museum. Like I've done a collaboration in Hollywood the other day with a museum. So awesome. I'm always happy to collab. I just think like collabs is the key. In my
are you doing a lot of collabs with other influencers too? Are you like collabing with influencers as well? Like
and sometimes other influencers, sometimes other influencers like develop their own brands or their own things, and I am for for helping each other. So whenever they're like, hey, this is my brand, hey, of course, send me your merchandise or whatever. I'll do a video, I'll do a reel, and I'm just because I figure that if I help, then when I need them, they will, return the favor, let's say.
Exactly.
Right? That happened to me once. And oh my goodness. I had a friend said, hey, will you collab with me? I have a new razor coming out. I'm like, yeah, send to me. She's like, what color? I'm like, it doesn't matter. Send it. And I was so excited because it had like a certain like a rainbow thing that you can hold, like a grip. And I was like, oh, this is a good razor. Like, if you hold your hand, it's going to be perfect. And then my husband's like, what? Let me see your razor. And I'm like, what? He looked at it. He's like, there's a place to charge your razor. And I said, oh, but maybe, you don't have to move your hand. It just vibrates. He's like, no, honey. He's like, that's a different type of vibrate. And I'm like, what? And I looked, I was like, oh my goodness.
The other kind.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, but I already committed. I said I would share. What do I do? So I ended up sharing it. I shared it on April Fool's Day, which was perfect.
Okay.
And
see?
It helped
You're
me.
smart.
Right on theme. Oh my gosh.
That is so funny.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, that I mean, it is cool. Well, I think a couple things. Number one is it shows like how influencers supporting influencers, right, is a thing. That you guys are like out there, and creators. I think that's a key thing that I keep on hearing, a lot. Is if we're supporting each other, it's sort of like, we can. What do they say? The rising tide raises all boats. Have you guys heard that saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like. And there's plenty of followers out there. There's no competition. It's really like, I think the thing that's a moment for creators to support creators and have that, and I think that also, I think we also need to think about the, brands supporting creators, and then, and I think that brands that actually think that way do better, instead of like
I agree.
brand thinking of creators as, and being a middleman, I'm like a matchmaker at scale, right? So like we're working on a campaign, we're launching this new Chick-fil-A, sandwich or whatever, and then we get moms and people hearing about it, and we want to match them with the right audience, or like I said, up Faith and Family, get this cool, this cool show that we want to connect to the right audience, and we're just, but the thing is that we're always, with the brands we work with, always encouraging them to understand, like, hey, these are creators that, like, not, and the brands that we work with are awesome. None of them think that way, but we always just remind new people, new clients that we have, hey, look, creators are people who are out there. They're creatorpreneurs, influencerpreneurs, and they're building their own business, and we want to support them and honor them, and not, I think a lot of times, with the brands that we work with, we want to encourage them too to let the influencers create like content that's authentic. Like you're saying, you kind of made lemonade out of lemon in that one. We were going like, oh shoot, I didn't understand, but now it's April Fool's, so it's perfect timing. So you want to do things that are on theme to who you guys are organically, and then you also, like, when brands want to work with you guys, I'm sure you guys do a great job at this. In fact, I've looked at some of your posts already, and by the way, Estefania, I don't know if we've done a collab with you yet, but we definitely should be doing a collab with you soon.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Deanna did a collab with us on the LA County Fair. So we were promoting the LA
Love
County
it.
Fair, and she did really cool. And the thing is we real content that feels authentic, and I think that sometimes brands will, that are out there, again, not our clients because we help them not do that, but they get a little too heavy in terms of like creative direction to tell the influencers to do exactly this and this and this. I don't know if you guys have ever had that experience, but you want to let creators just kind of like give them some general direction and let them do
That's
them,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
In
right?
my experience, they give you like a guidelines, like you can say this, you cannot say that, but they give you like
Too
freedom,
many
let's say,
guidelines.
because they
Too
want
many.
organic. Yeah, do whatever you feel and what fits for your audience too. But they of course will give you the do and the don'ts, because you don't know, that you
Right.
cannot say this. It's better, instead of alert. For example, I've done a collab with a brand, candles, and instead of allergen free, she wanted me to say allergen aware, things that I wouldn't
Oh
know,
yeah,
but
yeah,
but then
little, yeah,
little
yeah,
minimum in Spanish.
yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah, I
Check.
always just tell people, don't tell them that, if you want an influencer to do something, just give them one thing to do. Don't give them like 3 things to do or 5 things to do. And if you have some don'ts, let's just give them a couple don'ts. Like, don't give them too
Mm-hmm.
many don'ts, because it's like, it's too much to remember. You guys are busy. It's an honor to be able to collab with an influencer, big or small. And the reality is, like, you guys are taking your time. The collabs are rarely pay enough to make it really
Mm-hmm.
super worth it to say, like, hey, I'm an employee of these people. I'll do whatever they
Mm-hmm.
say. And frankly, you really don't want to have those people anyway on your campaigns, because you want people who are organically opting in because they like your product. They actually think
Exactly.
like it really resonates with them. And I feel like, unless it's just like some major celebrity, you want to find people who are like, yeah, we want to throw some cash in as a sweetener, as what we call an honorarium, for a thank you for being a part of the campaign.
Yes.
But we're not always, and most of the time, not always able to pay what everybody wants to get paid for a
Oh,
campaign. So let's honor them and let them create the content and be grateful,
Mm-hmm.
for
exactly.
content
Exactly.
they're
I like
doing.
that
So
mentality.
yeah. So that's the thought. Well, Estefania, you are amazing, and I love you to pieces, and we're looking
Thank
forward to doing a
you.
collab with you.
I
Thank you
love
for
you guys.
sharing.
Of course,
Love you too.
anything you guys need, I'm always. And so if Diana need anything, also you can reach out
Thank
to
you.
me.
You're
Um,
amazing, and I hope a lot of people
anything. I'm
discover
all
you
for.
guys. Well, we're just beginning this podcast. This is our second episode. We're just learning little technical things, and then as the podcast grows, more and more people will discover you guys. And I'm super excited to have you all in the community and be a presenter today. So thank you all so much for everything. And if you guys are just tuning in for the first time to Launch Viral, we are a community of influencers. We have about 300 more thousand influencers in our network now that we do collabs with. We've been doing collabs for 20 years. We love what we do. We love our community, love influencers, and love the brands. And some of the influencers are creating their own brands, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Like, they're launching their own brands too, and that's super exciting when we see that. And so if you guys are ever decide to do something like that, please let us know so we can support you. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
And we'll be sharing more playbook, more playbooks from influencers, creators, and brands and celebrities and everybody trying to grow, on TikTok and X, what they call it now. I guess they rebranded Twitter.
X, yes.
Growing
X Twitter now.
Instagram and all the different platforms that are on the media channels that are out there now. So many, but there's so many things that we're all learning every day. And like I said before, even the people at the social networks themselves are learning every day, and they're learning from us, and we're learning from each other. So, Launch Viral, we're just here on this podcast to share with each other and as a community the playbook on helping our brands go viral. So thank you guys so much for being here. Love you all.
Thank you.
You guys.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day.
Really appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.